when I was 18, I came several times with my friends to make 3-week, 1-month bicycle trips in Patagonia. And I just fell in love with the region. The mountains coming to the ocean, the forest, the wilderness was impressive. And in the middle of this wilderness, small organic farms. And I was like, what? So I said, wow, I need to work with them someday. So I decided to go to travel around, and I found this farm in Ecuador. They invited me to have lunch. I was so impressed about the food and the family and the farm and the beauty of the life that they were living. I asked if I could stay the weekend. And they said, maybe you can stay. And then a week. And then I ended staying like almost a year. I live in a region of Patagonia. It's not connected to Chile by roads. Our closest neighbors to the east is South Africa, maybe? Because in Argentina, there's no one. And to the other side, Australia again. So in our latitude, we were alone. It will be much easier to live near to the city, 5 hours away. No, we want to live near to the park. We want to be part of this. Every year we go with our kids and we enjoy the park. We see pumas, condors, guanacos, huemules, the landscape, the beauty of the buildings. And we say, we created this.
Welcome to the Market Gardener Podcast, where we believe that small-scale farming is changing the world. Join us for insightful conversations with people who are working to build a better future. A future with less mass production and more production by the masses. The revolution is in the field. Let's get digging. This episode is brought to you by our friends at the Real Organic Project. If you've been enjoying the show so far, make sure to hit the subscribe button. The subscribe button allows us to keep promoting the show. It allows us to keep inviting new guests, more diverse guests, to have these enlightened conversations. Let's keep these conversations going. Help us by subscribing to the channel. Francisco, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Yeah.
We've been hanging out the last few days after the Canopy Retreat program. You came for that. I remember, was it like this winter I called you?
Yes.
You called me. I said, Francisco, I want you to come at Canopy.
Yeah.
And I think we have more things to build together. And then
it's the call that I was expecting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we did the retreat together. It was fun. We had a good time.
Absolutely.
And I'm super happy to have you on the podcast.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
Sharing with you.
And just last night, Francisco was at my place. We
Yes.
had a really nice evening and talked about all kinds of things. It was like podcast 1.0, but off the air.
Yeah, because he's been sleeping at my home for the last few days, and then he came out really late, and I was expecting him to come back early. I said, you know what, Chris, it doesn't go all night, but you guys stayed a good 5 hours together chatting. And
all the homestead with the chainsaws, a beautiful forest. We walked in the stream, barefoot. So it was nice talk, nice walk.
Wonderful evening. Yeah. Shall I start us off on this conversation? It's a bit different from maybe some other ones because I'm a bit less prepared than I often am because we scheduled this yesterday.
Yes.
Yet with all of our conversation, Francisco, I think I saw many threads of conversation. So what I want to ask you first is, can you tell us what Ecuador and a man by the name of Pacho, what does that mean to you, and where does that fit into your story? And take as long as you want to answer it.
They are my first mentor. He is my first mentor. He was the one who inspired me to this way of life. I reached them because, 2010, my dad passed away. He was a firefighter pilot and a crop duster pilot. I was supposed to be a pilot like him, and he passed away in 2010. And then I was like kind of relieved of doing what I was supposed to do. And I started being interested in organic agriculture and living like from the land. I had the book from John Seymour that I am impressed that here is not so...
which one? There's a few, eh?
It's called the Self-Sufficient Homesteader.
Homestead, okay.
We have it. We have it in French here. It's really nice.
It's amazing. I always saw the pictures and the drawings. So my dream was to live like that. And in Chile, in that time, I didn't have the references or inspiration of where should I look to live like that in a way that it was more similar to my own lifestyle. because in Chile it's not like here. Farmers are divided like campesinos, like people living in a different way, and then there's like the business farmers. So it's not like really this. Now there is, it's more common, but in that time and without Instagram and everything, it was hard to look for references. So I decided to go to travel around, and a friend of mine was living in Ecuador at that time, so I started there, and I found this farm. And when we opened the gate to come into the farm, it was like John Seymour's place. And I was like, wow, this is what I was looking for. All my friends said, like, you are going to travel, you won't find what you're looking for. And it was like literally the first place I arrived. It was this amazing place. And they invited me to have lunch. And I was so impressed about the food and the family and the farm and the beauty of the life that they were living. I asked if I could stay the weekend. And they said, maybe you can stay. And then a week. And then I ended staying like almost a year.
Wow.
Yeah. And after 1 or 2 months being there, like living with them, working with them at their farm, they told me if I could stay, take charge of the farm for a few months, because they have been living there in their paradise, but also their prison for 30 years. That's how they told me. We live in paradise, but we are imprisoned here. We don't are able to travel as a family. So I stayed in the farm. I brought Fanchi, my actual business partner, to help me. At that time, he was working at something very different, like Syngenta or something like that. So for him, it was also a life change. And they went to the base camp of the Everest and more travel. So we took the charge of the farm for 4 months. And for me, that's the main inspiration of farming, because they have a very beautiful way of looking at the farm, where the family is the core and equals the work and equals the farm. So they eat together, they work together, and the farm is where their life happens. So from there, I was like inspired to live like that. And himself, he deserves his own podcast. I mean, he's 80-something. He's like Elliot Coleman for me in terms of reference. He studied to be a priest until he had 27. Then he was a climber and then a doctor in anthropology, teaching campesinos of Ecuador in their own language, like Quechua. And he realized that if he wanted to prove that this way of life was possible without inputs like chemical inputs and pesticides, he had to be himself a farmer. And he became a farmer at 40 years. So I reached this farm when he was 80 or something, and he's still doing it.
Yeah, and so these were elders, really. Can you tell us a bit more about the farm? Like, what did it kind of look like, and what kind of things were they growing, and the practices?
Farm still exists, and it's called Chaupi Molino. It's 1 hour from Quito in the highlands in Ecuador, 2,000 meters high above sea level. So it's like my climate, like this also, but always spring. The farm in that time was about 4 hectares, 11 workers, most of them like locals, most of them indigenous people. And they grew a lot of vegetables like here. Or everything was just with compost, a very simple way of farming. Just compost, any other input. The soil was 16-17% of organic matter, dark soil, beautiful soil. And very simple. It is not very intensive. They stuck with the old organic. Yeah.
How did you find my work? How did that happen?
So when I was there in Ecuador, I applied to volunteer at a non-profit it was called at that time Conservación Patagónica. That was one of the non-profits under Tompkins Conservation.
Mm-hmm.
The Tompkins are these Americans that in the 90s bought a lot of land to create national parks in different places in Chile. And when I was 18, my first year after university, I came to several times with my friends to make 3-week, 1 month bicycle trips in Patagonia. And I just fell in love with the region, And this non-profit, this foundation, had a huge park called Pumalin that now is called Douglas Tompkins National Park. The mountains coming to the ocean, the forest, everything, the wilderness was impressive. And in the middle of this wilderness, small organic farms. And it was like, what? I was studying agriculture. The first year of agriculture, my teachers were teaching me things that I wasn't interested, like exporting fruits and things for not like real food. So I said, wow, I need to work with them someday. I don't know how. I don't know, but I have to work with them someday. And I kept very interested in their work. And after finishing my university, I went to Ecuador. And from Ecuador, I applied to volunteer with them. And one of the parks that they were creating is where I live now, not near where I live now, Valle Chacabuco. And it was really a square, 700 square meters garden, very simple, that I arrived to work in. And in that shed, it was not a shed, it was like a roof for wood roof,
Yeah.
There were some books, and then there were the book of Elliot Coleman.
Mm-hmm.
And the same year, we went to a course with Darren Doherty from Australia, and a friend of us that now he's living in Australia showed us your book. And at that time, that garden, I double dig it like twice. My back
Quadruple
was in pain.
dig.
I was very fit, but very tired. The garden looked amazing, but I said, if this is like bio-intensive agriculture, I don't think I will be able to do it too much. So then I found your book, Elliot book, and we said, okay, maybe we should go and visit these guys and see what they are doing. And this was, I think, 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we made a road trip and we visited your farm. You showed us like the net. We stayed there.
Mm-hmm.
You showed us also FQT. And we came back with some tools and we started revolutionizing this thing with tools and things and the approach also, not just the tools.
When is the story, when Cuatro Estación, when does that, because we see it, I don't know if people can see the picture of the gardens. When does that start in the whole journey?
So as
Your current farm, you're
yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
So I was working in a project that was supposed to be a national park. And someday now it's a national park. So I knew that that garden wasn't going to be there forever. And we always worked towards having our own farm. And 1 year before the donation to the government, to the creation of the national park, we started this farm with a grant of innovation from the government. They said like, wow, this thing that you are doing here is amazing for the region. In Chile, in this region, people called farms, they call it greenhouses. They didn't even think that it was possible to grow outside.
Oh my God.
So imagine growing outside, organic, bio-intensive, with the broad fork, the filter, the power harrow. They were like, wow.
Yeah, you used the word revolutionizing before, and I don't think anyone should take that lightly.
Exactly.
Because one thing I took from our conversation last night was, here in the North America, in particular in the northeast of North America, I think we take a lot for granted because it's been going a while now, this kind of movement, and like it's sort of the origin of it within North America. But where you are, from what you were telling me, is literally non-existent. I mean, when people came to your farm, it was the first time they ever saw something like that.
I hope people go to Google Earth or something like that and see where are we.
Tell them where to look.
Look, Puerto Guadal, Aysén region, Chile. Our neighbors, our closest neighbors to the east is South Africa, maybe? Because in Argentina, it's just Pampa. There's no one living there.
Wow.
And to the other side, Australia again. So in our latitude, we were alone. You can't go look to the sites and say, hey, this guy is doing this guy is doing that. So that's why we looked at the 45, 46 latitude north, and we started learning from people like you. And yeah, so it was pretty revolutionary for the region.
And the image that we see is the garden in the national park, close to the lodge.
No, this is not there. The other was is very small.
Yeah.
It's not running anymore. The
Yeah.
hotel that got the concession of the park have it like closed. I put tarps to take care of the soil. So this what we are looking is my actual farm.
Okay.
1 hour from there, in the shore of the lake that is called General Carrera. That is the second biggest lake in America after Titicaca.
It's unbelievably beautiful.
It's unbelievable.
So if you're only listening to this, and well, if you're on Spotify, you can turn on the video and take a look at the image we're looking at. It's
it's beautiful. We are literally surrounded by mountains. We are a few kilometers away from the northern ice field, and we were not supposed to be there, but the huge lake creates a microclimate that is almost always sunny and it's not so cold, so it's nice for growing vegetables.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm very impressed for the reason that, an idea, a blueprint, a book, a visit, then inspires people to do it. And when they do it, it inspires other people to understand. And for me, there's like, it's really special. And, and I hope that in your question, Chris, we can widely talk about Doug Tompkins and these parks.
Yeah.
Because for me, Chile is really also, that story is one of my favorite story of all time.
It's very powerful, and for me it was very, I don't know, we talked the other day, what he transmitted to me, he was like a straight arrow, like all his life, like no fear, just go forward with your vision. And I obviously not him, but he kind of transmitted me, and I think more others.
Could you share who he is for those that don't know and that are listening? Who is Doug Tompkins? Right.
There's a book about him that not everyone is like this is super real, but it's nice to read about him. It's called The Wild Idea, and I recommend it. It's a good book, and he was a climber. He was a friend with Yvon Chouinard. In their 70s, they went down to El Chaltén to climb the mountain, surfing. And they came back and they created Patagonia company, clothing company, Yvon Chouinard. And Tompkins created the North Face. But then he sold North Face, he created Spree, and then he sold Spree.
Esprit, it's just like the fashion brand in Europe, in France.
He sold his part.
That was really big in the 80s.
I think they had 27,000 employees all over the world.
Wow.
So with that money and with his team, they came to Chile in the 90s and they started buying huge pieces of land, like 300,000 hectares of forest and glaciers and mountains. And they said, we will give this to the government when they are ready with infrastructure to create national parks. And everyone was like, what? You are creating a new Israel here?
People must have said gringos coming here
of
to
course,
buy.
They made war against him, like even in the Congress, like he was almost kicked away from the country, but he kept pushing and pushing and pushing until his work spoke itself. And young people like me and a lot of people started supporting his work. He was very into activism, very close to where I live now. They wanted to build huge dams, like 5 huge electric dams.
Yeah.
And the line of power, it will cut all these forests and mountains. And he pushed and he created a team. And then eventually they won the fight against this huge hydroelectric project. It was called Hidroaicén. In Chile, it was like the first big win of environmental activism. And they lit the spark of a lot of movements that now are protecting different places in Chile. So it's just not the park creation, but also the activism that they created everywhere in Chile and Argentina. In Argentina, they have more national parks and more people that are still working, creating. Now they are into ocean national parks. It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. And for me, obviously, I am a farmer. I am not a conservationist. Even if I appreciate a lot of that side, I decided to dedicate my life to agriculture. And to me, he gave me the importance of beauty in everything you do. So when you say the farm is beautiful, I kind of accept that with humble also. But I try to do it beautiful, because beauty is what comes into your eyes and inspires you to live like this also. Elliot said the other day in the other chapter of the podcast, like, this is a way of living. Like,
it's
life.
a romantic way of
it's
living.
a kind of romantic way. Yeah,
You're speaking gospel to me. Well, yeah, because like, I think it's one of the primary pitfalls of modern civilization is actually a separation from beauty, to the point, like, because we took utilitarianism to its max and just said, doesn't matter how anything looks, it's only how useful it is. And people really took that to heart, especially in America, and just I don't know, I think they were proud of that fact. People feel proud that, I don't care about how it looks, I only care that it works. And we all get that, because there's a time and a place for that. But what are we throwing out when we just make that the God that everyone follows? I mean, you look at that, and then you look around some other places. And
when I started in farming, no, I haven't told that story a lot, but before Modelen and I, we went to New Mexico. We lived in Mexico, in the mountains for a couple of months, coffee farms. And, for me, it was the first time, seeing paisanos. And I remember there was a couple in their 80s. So beautiful. Magdalena, and I don't remember his name, but they had a little tiny hut in the mountains. He would leave in the morning, come back, coffee, do his things. But it was so simple, but it was so beautiful.
Yeah.
The area where they were. And just like the view from the morning, and just like the love that they had together. And then that was really, for me, the start of thinking, a modern house, and I grew up in the suburbs. It's like, what is this all about? Do you really need all this distraction when you have just like a simple life with beauty and love between two partners, two old souls? And I think that was really the first time that I understood that it's not about things, it's about place.
Yeah.
And
that's what in Ecuador I also was very inspired by. Yeah.
By that, because you were seeing a place.
I was eating with them. The family was together, eating a beautiful meal every day in a beautiful place with birds singing. Nice people came every time to visit, and a good talk, good books, a lot of reading, a lot of discussions, like in the table. What else do you need?
It's funny because you say that, and I think, again, for so many people, they might take that for granted if they have that.
Yeah.
But the amount of people that have nowhere near just that, and when you examine it, it is a very simple desire. Like, unfortunately, we almost look at it like it's luxury, but really luxury just to eat together and have deep conversation and have some beauty around.
And not have a neighbor that's like in your face because the houses are so close to one another. Like the beauty of having landscape.
Yeah,
I know.
And it's not for the elite. The poor people used to live in rural areas.
Yeah.
It's really about what you choose and what you appreciate, and then protecting these landscapes.
That's a monstrous topic and you presented it. I mean, we have a story in this village about protecting landscape, and we are, the living descendants of what people did in the past. And if it wasn't for what they did, the beautiful landscape, we'd be in a ski, golf, whatever village, and it would be strip malls. And I mean, seriously, that's right. I've heard a bit of the story, and what would Chile and Argentina and much of the Patagonia region be if it wasn't for protecting, eh?
And then about that story, and correct me if I'm wrong, because sometimes we get excited on these things. You've met Doug, and you've talked to me how he inspired you, and you were with him, and you saw things through him. The story that I've heard, first of all, I saw a movie of him and Yvon Chouinard driving in a van.
Yeah, that movie,
I think it's down due south or something like that. It's a pretty good movie, and people should check that out. And then I got his book, and it was really all about beauty.
Yeah.
And Esprit was a fashion company. North Face was not so fashionable, but still it became a fashion company. And then seeing beauty in nature, and then giving everything that he had to preserve beauty in nature. And, creating the biggest protected area in the world. And, he probably didn't do this alone. He probably had a team and he had a vision that he shared, but still, it's pretty remarkable that one human being would have so much impact protecting land.
Yeah. I think the sum of everything that they gave back to the land, to the government, is the biggest donation to the government in any time of the world in history.
Wow.
If you sum up all the national parks that they created, it's millions of hectares, because they said like, okay, we have this 70,000, but you will create a 300,000 with this national reserve and public lands that are not protected.
So when they would give it, it would come with the obligation to
leverage was the word that I was looking for. Like they leverage a lot of okay, this is huge, but we will make something even bigger, and you will take care of this. And they convinced. They wait presidents like, okay, this presidency maybe will not work with them too much. Let's wait another presidency. So they were working. They still are working, but 30 years building something, and then they gave it away. It's crazy.
Wow.
The detachment also because they gave away everything: houses, infrastructure, camping sites, everything. Like, okay, government, you take care of this.
And a gesture like that has ripple effect, because then, I know that they were close because I heard the story of how he died. I had one friend that was close friend with him, and he was there when they died. Yvan Chouinard was also there. They were all together, the boys together. And, a few years later, Yvan Chouinard decided to give Patagonia away too.
Yeah.
These are pretty incredible stories if you think about it. And how many of these amazingly rich money people, if they decided to gift their fortune to causes, the impact of that would be
huge.
Yeah. And it feels very rare, unfortunately. Like, I think there's a cynical side to me that almost doesn't want to believe it. It's like, really, they actually did something good, because Patagonia is a massive company, and fast. Not that they are fast fashion at its worst or anything, but fashion has a lot of problems, but then they do that, and maybe it's just amazing.
It's amazing, and in Chile at least, because I don't know how it behaves in other parts, but people working in Patagonia, Chile, for example, sometimes they quit and they go to work to the North Face or other companies, but they go with this culture of we're working because we are protecting nature, we are supporting activism. So it kind of set the standard in Chile at least, and also consumers said, I will buy this because they are doing this and that. So it's not the final solution, obviously, but at least in Chile, I can see that in the last 10 years, Patagonia and the work of the national park creation had set the standards of what is expected of these big organizations with power and money to do.
Then you think about how the economy of a country will benefit from this, because people will go to these parks and visit, and then they're protected, and everything that in Brazil that should have happened. Like the Amazonian rainforest should have all been protected, and it should have been.
I wanted to. This is really making me think of something Dave Chapman told us on the podcast about. I know I've said the phrase "taken for granted" like 3 times already, but with national parks, people also, I think, take that for granted. And what Dave Chapman said was just that we tend to think that things are just the way they are, and we feel very hopeless and helpless a lot of the time, especially right now. Perhaps people are feeling extra helpless compared to past years. But then you look at, like, it isn't just the way it is. Someone did something before, and people need to continue to do things. And if they do, the world can be very, very different and much, much better. And because it already is. where we live is already much, much better than it could have been if it went one step in a different direction. And I don't know, that's really inspiring.
Inspiring. And if you ask why I'm living there, one of the reasons that may be very naive, because people will like laugh at me and the lean farmers will like unfollow me. I live 5 hours away from my market, from my main market. So it's not lean, it's not smart. It's a crazy idea of looking a way of life that is supporting the idea of the national park, because the national park, Patagonia, that now is real, is a national park. It was the idea. It was to create areas around it that were like buffer areas or whatever you can call it, like people living in a sustainable way related with the park somehow. And in that context, agriculture, as we do, I don't want to put the last name, but you can name it, like not using pesticides, building soil. Our soil was 3% organic matter. Now it's 20% organic matter.
Wow.
I think it's too much now, but we are making the place more beautiful and better. It was, okay, let's stay here. Let's stay around the park. Let's live with the park as our backyard. We go every year. We go with our kids and we enjoy the park. We see pumas, condors, guanacos, huemules, the landscape, the beauty of the buildings. And we said, oh, we created this and we are part of this community. And yeah, you can say it will be much easier to live near to the city, 5 hours away. No, we want to live near to the park. We want to be part of this and in the long term. And as I defend that, and I believe in that, because obviously everyone will understand that being 5 hours away is expensive and very. I receive support back. So I don't want to promote marketing or anything, but Patagonia supports me a lot with this trip, with clothes for me and my team. Sometimes when I want to bring people, they give money also and they support.
Yeah, 2 years ago, 11 of you guys came here.
Yeah, 12. Yeah,
12. It was amazing.
I brought all my crew. I brought some friends.
And there was support for that?
Yeah.
I mean,
I called them. I said,
it's expensive, to come up here, those flights.
Even now, I said, okay, I want to go there. This is the cradle of what I am doing. I want to bring positive impact here. And you say that you are doing this, like selling clothes for this. So I'm not imposing them, but it's what they are doing. So I feel that we are doing the work that is important, and they understand that. So it's a reciprocity that is amazing. So it's just an advice or just a comment that I don't feel alone, even if it's super hard and super expensive to live so far away from your market and your sources of things. We also need things like trays for the seedlings.
Oh, can you tell? I want you to paint the picture of how kind of isolated you are where you are in Chile. Because when you were telling me things, I was quite surprised. Because here we're just used to everything in the world is kind of at your fingertips.
One click and you're done.
Yeah,
come on.
And you were telling me that you had to learn how to import things. That if you wanted a Jang cedar, you needed to import it through some formal process, and that you're even importing now as like an official person to help other farmers. It was super cool. Can you tell us about this?
This episode is brought to you by Activista. For our friends down under, Activista is the source for all your market gardening essentials. From their extensive line of seeders to non-GMO seeds, BCS equipment, and their very own cocoon caterpillar tunnels, they've got it all. And now Activista also carries the Growers & Co. signature range of tools and farmware designed for growers who value quality and sustainability. Activista, friend, is there to support the development of new growers. So feel free to reach out to James, my buddy James, the best guy in the world, and see how he can assist you with discounting on your first order. And let me tell you, their new high-speed website is amazing and makes selecting large seeds and tools order a breeze. So go check them out at activista.com.au. And thanks so much, Activista, for your support. You guys rock. I love you. If you dream of building a thriving small-scale farm, one that's productive, profitable, and rooted in ecological principles. The online course that I teach, the Market Gardeners Masterclass, is for you. It's more than a course. It's a complete certificate program designed to help you master every aspect of running a successful microfarm. You'll learn from real farmers, follow a proven step-by-step path, and join a community of growers around the world who are changing the way food is grown. Enrollments are open twice a year, so join the waiting list to be the first to know when doors open. Visit themarketgardener.com to make your dream farm a reality.
So I live in a region that is called Aysén. It's part of Patagonia. Patagonia is big and it doesn't have like formal limits. It's like an idea. And it's Chilean and Argentinian as well. So I live in a region of Patagonia that in Chile is called like Northern Patagonia. It's wetter with more mountains and it's not connected to Chile by roads. If you want to go, you have to cross ferries, or people go through Argentina and come down again through borders. And most people just fly from Santiago or whatever. So, and then Aysén, with the southernmost region, Magallanes, is not connected either by roads because you have the southern ice field. That is, I think, the second biggest ice mass outside Antarctica and Greenland.
Wow.
So it's just ice, 2 kilometers of thickness of ice. So we are an island mainly. And this island, to live there, you have to obviously be provided by plane or boat. And it's expensive in every aspect. Life is expensive for everyone there. And the capital of this city, of this region, is called Coyhaique. And I live 250 kilometers south of that through 2 mountain passes. Wow. Of these 250 kilometers, I think just maybe 1/3 of that is paved and the other 2/3 is dirt road, but not dirt roads like here, like dirt roads that have holes and ice in the winter. So
don't get maintained every year.
So some friends, and I think it's just not on purpose, they say when you are going to or where we live, they are going inside. They say, we are going adentro, like we are going inside.
To the interior.
To the interior, yes. And in this interior, there is a huge lake that is the one in the picture called General Carrera or Chelenco that creates a microclimate that is amazing. I mean, you move 10 kilometers away from the town near the lake and it's frosting, wind, dry, but there is some pockets where you can find soil, like here, a flat place, and then another one between the rocks and mountains. So
El General
Carrera, was one of the liberators of.
He provides the warmth. Nice.
Yeah, and the water is clean. We can still drink the water from the lake.
He was saying when we saw each other, he's like, I swim and I'm like drinking. Isn't that great?
Yeah. And walking in the creek last night, he was like, is it clean enough to drink? And I was like, well, I don't know about that.
It's clean. The water is clean. The air is clean. There's no industrial agriculture near up to
for very, very far, I guess.
So in Chile we have regions and then we have provinces, and inside provinces we have comunas, like smaller territories, like a county or something like that. And my comuna is called Chile Chico, small Chile, because all the southern shore of the lake creates a microclimate that when the people from the north came, they said, wow, this is like Chile up there. It's not like Patagonia. So they said, okay, let's start a town. This town is called Chile Chico. And they grow apricots, they grow plums, some people near the shore of the lake, they can grow corn. And I live a little farther away because they are in the border with Argentina. And my climate is a little more cold and wet. That's why we have forests. But yeah, it's amazing. The place is amazing. Yeah.
You were making me think, I lost the train of thought. I had something good to say, I swear. It might come to me.
I myself, like when I think about that project and I've known you for a few years now. I just think that it's remarkable how you've decided to stay involved and keep pushing, and you're committed to coming back here. You were at Elliot Coleman's farm. You stayed there for a few months. And, now you've visited a lot of farms around here. Now, again, you're staying. And I think that's really also relevant to talk about. Like, why are you inspired to come here, soak it in? What does that create in you? Why are you here?
Why are you here?
Yeah. And he went to like all the rock stars I could think of. I was sending names. I visited that guy, spent 2 weeks.
You were with Ben Hartman for a few weeks.
So
yeah. I don't want to be pretentious or anything. I just like to know people like you, inspiring people. I think everyone has something to teach and to give. And as we have long winters, like you, every winter I try to visit a place. It's not that I have a lot of money. People call me and says, "Hey, I want to do something in this region." And I said, "I don't know anything about that region. You should go to the opposite latitude in the north and see what they are doing there. Can you bring me?" "Yeah, I can go with you." And we travel like that. Or when we came supported by Patagonia. I really don't know why I come all the time. I think I'm looking for inspiration and friends. And you have a beautiful community here. Also in all the northeast and this part of, I don't know how you call this region, but it's not like just Quebec. It's just like near Fredericksburg, where I can feel that something special is happening. I come back to remember what inspires me, because being a farmer, and I suppose that a lot of farmers hear this podcast, we know that it's hard. And day by day, you are thinking about sitting and the business and the money and the employees, and everything is always like a struggle. And sometimes you have up and downs. And I was feeling a little disorientated of what is all about this, like
kind of lost a little bit, like, why am I doing this again?
Yeah, what am I doing this? Like,
should I just move to the city and be an accountant after all?
And then you called me and you invited me to Canopy, and I said yes. People ask me like, what are you going for? And I said, I'm not 100% sure, but I know that I will find something. I am here with you. Beautiful people, very inspiring community. I don't know if you take it for granted, but what you have here as a community, as a territory, is just amazing. Like, it's not just the farms that are already nice. It's like, as a whole, I feel very inspired. And I would like to bring some of that to my place and tell my friends and tell my family and bring this good way of life to where I live. And I think it's 100% possible. We just have to work. And that's like the romantic side, but also the technical side. You here are the tip of the spear, always innovating. I feel that I like to innovate a lot also. So I came to see what you were doing now.
There's one storyline. I think I've told this story so many times, but it's always good to. When I went to New Mexico was a really, really interesting, happening place. A community. They had Santa Fe, which was a really nice city. A lot of hippies from the 70s, a lot of new age, a lot of money also. And then you had all the kids from these hippies that were there. And the farming community was amazing. And we stayed there for almost 2 years. And we were so inspired by the community and by the farming aspect of it all. But not just the farming, everything that was kind of around it. And then we decided that we would come back to Quebec. And we, for some reason, decided Fredericksburg. It just happened. We knew nobody here. And that what we had seen wasn't there. Like the community that we had in New Mexico and the farmers market and all these things here, just none of this existed.
Yeah.
And then you look back 20 years later, and we had the Bite Betrave party Saturday. That was like, Modèle was crying like a baby all day. It's just like,
I was very inspired by seeing all these people, like young and old, dancing, and the singers of there was a reggae party. They were like being thankful of what Bite Betrave. Maybe you can tell a little, or maybe people have talked about that
share
in the
it
podcast.
again. I mean,
but
we've spoken about it before, but
I see that it's really connected to your farm and to Magdalene.
Yeah.
And they said, thanks for caring about us. Like, not just food, because they have amazing food and they grow locally. It's like the good vibes that you can feel there, and you feel like happy of visiting that place and being in that special party.
Bite Betrave is one of the cornerstone of our village, because that's Modelene's younger sister. I think they're 12 years apart. And obviously when we moved here, we lived in a teepee for 2 years, and she was young. I remember when she was so young. And then she went to South America also. She did a lot of traveling there. And then eventually with her boyfriend, they decided that they wanted to open a cafe. And I think that because we were here and she was inspired since she was young, they decided to open the cafe downtown Frellisburg, which, you know, it's kind of like a gamble because you're in the middle of nowhere opening a cafe. And now they just celebrated their 10th anniversary, and the whole community was there. And it was just young kids, older people, you know, probably 300 people were there. And we were in the park, and it was just so nice. And then, you know, that cafe was a big part of it. All the farms that were around that, you know, came to our farm. And that's one of the message that I carry with me when I travel abroad. I'm like, I know that if I plant the seed of a farm that will work, it can sprout into a community and to something nice. And I think you're seeing this yourself.
Yeah, it's like you tell a friend something and he's like, whoa, a neighbor, for example, this pond or this sauna or this way of, and you tell the idea, but you don't know how the idea will become. And then the result is better than what you thought and you told him. So it's like you also, like, it's a positive contagious thing when you bring these ideas to your neighborhood.
I also like the fact, guys, and it's not rich people deciding everything here. Like, it's not a community of super wealthy New Yorkers that have country homes. You know, there's people that with money, but I feel that what we've created here is not that. It's really from its roots, from the ground up.
You can see that,
and that's the specialty of it. You know, it's not too.
100%.
Yeah, you know, am I saying it right? It's not too like elitist or
exactly. No, it's true. And, you know, there is some of that, but I think we were fortunate enough to not have been taken over by that, because that also happens in places, you know, it just kind of becomes a rich people's second home country. And there's many places in Quebec that are kind of like that. And I'm not here to, you know, totally knock that or anything, but it's, you know, that's not what we want. Like, we want rich community, vibrant daily lives. And that comes from people that live there and care about the place. And, I wanted to say something. We're talking about all this and how this community, you know, not started from nothing, but like there wasn't what there is now, and much has been built since that moment. And in Chile, it's easy to think, you know, oh, wow, they have to import a giant cedar. They're so isolated. There's seeds, like you can't even get seeds. It's such a, how hard that must be. But another part of me thinks, what an opportunity that, you know, someone needs to start the Johnny seeds of the Asan region. Someone needs to start tool companies there. And there's just so much possibility for more beautiful things to be created, because, you know, we're all about local economy, and yet we're shipping tools around. Not, you know, that can all happen to an extent, but at some point you also want there to be some self-sufficiency in regions that are super far away from others.
It's happening very slowly. You think these things, it's not like in 5 years or 10 years. It may take 20 or 30 years.
Or a generation.
You see, I have two friends that build tools like for small-scale farming. One of them also is building greenhouses. Like, he was inspired by Farmer's Friend, and he's doing very similar greenhouses, And the first two that we had to import from Farmer's Friend, and now they are local. And just 2 days ago, he sent me a video of the machine to make the ensembles of the tubes. The first one doing that in Chile. It's for small farmers. And yeah, because I'm coming back to a thread that you asked me for. I didn't answer about this thing of importing. So being so far away in a climate that is hard, maybe not as hard as here because it's not so cold in the winter, but we have seasons. So we have to be very planned. We have to plan a lot because everything is very costly. That made us very structured and very good at planning, at growing, at importing, at educating, because the necessity was there and not enough resources. So advantage of this is that now, I mean, I don't do it as my main business, but I learned how to import from Japan, the paper pot and all these things, from Korea, the young cedar, from Canada, from the US. And we also consult other people that want to create their farm. And as we did it in a very hard way, for us it's super easy to create farms. I don't know, my partner, Fanchi, last week he went to Oyawe. It's a town 3,700 meters above sea level.
High up.
In summer, the minimum temperature in the midsummer, like for you, like now, -6. In the day, +18 Celsius. In the winter, in the night, -18, and in the day, +18.
Oh, wow.
So it's like
That's
altiplano.
wild.
And they want to build a greenhouse for the community because they don't have, obviously, they don't grow. And we knew what to do because another client, another person wanted to build a greenhouse in Magallanes, like the southernmost region of Chile. And with that customer, we went to Norway and we went to Scotland to see how they were doing. Parentheses, we didn't find any farm in Norway.
Yeah, you said that.
They just sent everything in trains. It was very sad. It's still beautiful, the Lofoten Peninsula. But we made the research and we said, okay, this is the greenhouse. This is the thickness of the insulation. This is everything. And you can grow here with this greenhouse. And now in Bolivia, in the border with Bolivia, like very, very high. And then Santiago farms, like in a Mediterranean climate, it's like easy. You plan and it's growing outside and they're doing good. We are creating like 8 different projects now of farms that are really structured and they work. So we are in a period of now we stopped doubting if it was possible as a business. Every business is hard, but the way that we learned from you and your team, it works not just in the technical aspect, but also in the business aspect. If you manage it well, if you find good customers, or not customers, just customers that are able to buy your products, you do it. And in months, you have results. And in years, you have the investment back. And you can measure that now. 10 years ago, at least us, we couldn't measure that. It was like, oh, maybe, let's try. Now you make a plan and it's there. So you just need to connect the spots and you will have farms anywhere you want. And as we are very isolated, we can say you can do it anywhere in the world. Oyawe is like Tibet. The similar climate is these cities in China, in Tibet. Magallanes is like Iceland without the thermal energy because they grow bananas and tomatoes. So it's like it's not real. But
can you tell us about some of the practices then on the farm in terms of fertility? I imagine, are you not fully self-fertile per se, but are you producing a lot, like not as much external input because of the difficulty of getting it? You said before compost.
When we arrived, the soil was not fertile at all. Exchange capacity very low, all the macro and micronutrients very low, organic matter 3%. I remember my partner Javi, seeding, and they just didn't grow. It was like very frustrating until we start putting a lot of compost. So we have just finished our 7th season, and now the soil is nice. And I think after the canopy, I realized with teaching of quiche and talking with other students, I think we put too much compost, and now we are stopping to put more compost and adjusting more details of some micronutrients. So until now, we have just put a lot of compost and some chicken manure and some blood meal and sulfur, because where I live, there is no active volcanoes. So sulfur is very, very low naturally everywhere. And the compost, we do it ourselves. We have never bought compost.
Wow.
So we buy hay from a neighbor. We used to go in our own truck to dig the sheep roof. I don't remember the author now. Maybe you know, Gene Lawson, maybe.
Yeah, Jeff Lawton or Gene Logsden.
The Holy Shit book.
And Gene Logsden.
He talks about the manure pack.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
So when you have animals like cows, sheep, goats, and you are under a roof, you feed them, and they poo and pee over their own like bed, and start to build. So there were several roofs like that near our place, and we started collecting that, and we built the soil with that, making our own compost. We bought a small Kubota with the front loader just to turn it more, and I think now we are ready to stop putting too much and maybe adjusting.
Was the Kubota hard to get?
It was long to wait. Like I paid, and it was 6 months later.
Must be an expensive shipping.
Yeah, I had to go to the port 6 hours away to take it with my car.
Man,
in my trailer.
We are spoiled.
And you're right. We are spoiled. However, this being said, if you look at that place, it's like I don't want to say there's a price to pay, but when you're there, you must be pretty happy to be there. And you're like, I go swimming.
Yeah, and you must have gratitude, exactly.
Yeah, and if you want to live a simple lifestyle with community and ecology, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't go that much to the city. Like, I appreciate the fact that we can have the material shipped here, but I don't, when I travel, then I go to airports and I kind of get the feeling for all of that, but I prefer this.
Even for me, I used to hate cities. I was raised in a city, it's not big. Viña del Mar is a beautiful city next to the ocean, 1 hour and a half from the main capital. But I used to feel bad in cities because of everything. And now I'm living so much in this, I don't want to say wilderness, because there's people living more wild than I am. So, but I am pretty much into a wild place. Now I like cities. Just for 3 or 2 days, I go and enjoy, eat well, paved roads. People like dressed with clean clothes. It's like, wow. They get their hairs, they shave. Wow.
They put a nice hat. No, I like that too. That part is fun.
And then I come back and I smell the smell of my home that smells like wood, food. The smell of where we live is just what I came to your place last night. The smell of the wood, of the house, of the food that you were cooking, the birds singing. I love that. I mean,
you guys ate pizza?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good. What's the population of where you live? Like, you say you've explained how kind of isolated it is, but is there a town, and is there shops and restaurants?
I live 15 minutes away from Puerto Guadal.
Okay.
I think it has 300 inhabitants. And then 2 hours away, there's a town, 4,000.
Okay.
And then south, another town of 4,000. And then the main city is 5 hours away. It has, I think, 70,000 people. And the rest just small towns like my own, in a region that if you want to cross it driving, it takes like 2 or 3 days, like driving 10 hours a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
How far is
Vast.
it to drive to Santiago, the capital?
I have made that twice. It's like 3 days if you drive 12 or 13 hours a day.
It's like in
Jeez.
the US, you would go from, I don't know, like Montana to Washington,
It
DC?
sounds like a cross-country trip. I think people
It
do
is.
those in like 3 or 4 days or something.
Yeah, it is.
My
It
God.
is. Yeah.
It's sometimes when you live in a, like where we live, it's, you forget, I don't know, just how vast a lot of places in the
Yeah.
world are. It's easy to forget because of how kind of dense
Mm.
it is where we live. And it's like, man,
Yeah.
it's good to know there's still space out there.
It is a lot.
Sometimes it feels like there's none. Do you want to share a story or two that really stick out in all of your travels since you've gone to so many great places? And, well, not the places, it's people. You've visited so many amazing people. You must have some standout memories. Love to hear.
When I visit these places, I kind of put the eye not so much in the farm, but in how they live. And I always learn, like, because all of us, we share common things. And for example, it's not that I am thinking about you as myself or another farmer as myself, but you go there. For example, 2 years ago, I went to Denmark, and I visited a farm that supplied the Noma restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So I went there, and I met the farmer. How old are you? 37. And you? 37. Ah, nice. Are you married? Yes. How many kids? 2. How old are they? 1 and 4. And yours? 1 and 4. And your wife? And in half an hour, we became friends. I was sitting with his wife, almost joking because I felt like she was telling the things that my wife tells me. Wow, that's so amazing. And I have seen that like everywhere I go. So this is too romantic maybe, but I am looking for a good life. And visiting these places is finding a good life. Also learning a lot, but I don't know, I went to Krameterhof in Austria to see the ponds. I have been in Denmark.
How old was he? What's his name again?
Sepp
Sepp
Holzer?
Holzer. He wasn't there, he was his son, but
His
the
son.
play was very inspiring, the beauty. I visited Richard Perkins 10 years ago, I think,
Wow.
and saw his farm and all the people learning there and his energy that was like overwhelming energy. Like, wow, this guy is so powerful. I have to be powerful as well if I want to do something. So these energies are super interesting. Here, the same, like, wow, you are doing so many things, so important for everyone, like getting inspiration and connecting more with people and then also beauty places. I mean, Norway,
Yeah,
Lofoten, and
No, I like that part of your story, Francisco, because not that many people take that time, and they could. A lot of folks in our circle, small scale farming movement, they could be traveling more. They could be coming to Quebec and see what we're doing here.
yeah,
They could be going to Chile. They could, people can travel the world going from farm to farms. We're all the same. We all load up the truck in the morning to go to markets.
yeah, we are people. Yeah.
And you can always give a hand. Yesterday you mowed the grass with the BCS, and you're like, this is my second, like, the BCS is like I know it so well. Like, I feel good with the BCS, And most of us could be traveling the world just that way.
Yeah.
Just visiting farms
I
and just
just love it.
connecting.
One story that I really like, because I am not a animal farmer, I'm a vegetable farmer, but I was in Zimbabwe, in Dimbandonge, I think is the name, of Alan Savory's farm. I was sitting with him barefoot in a bonfire, and I saw him before, like in these videos, like very far away, and he was sitting there barefoot in the bonfire, and that humbles you as well. It's just there. He's there. He's enjoying the fire with barefoot.
It reminds me of a story. I go to a party every year. It's this really nice party. And there's folks that are all ages. And then one of my friends, she's a bit older than me. She's like she's probably 65. And she hung out the whole night with one guy. And at one point, they really got along really well. And then she asked him what he was doing. He said, "Oh, I'm in a rock band." And eventually and she tells me then, later in the night, she says, "Well, which band is it? Do I know it?" She says, "Yeah, you know it. It's like the Beatles." And she was hanging out with George Harrison, and it's just,
Wow.
they were just hanging out.
Yeah.
And, people are people. I'm in a rock band. Imagine saying that and saying, the Beatles.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
And I think that's connecting with something you said before, that because in Chile we are seen as pioneers, younger guys look at us as, oh, Francisco and Javi, my partner, they did a lot. And I said, yes, but I learned from JM and from Elliot and from others. I am sure that they learn from others and others. And this is coming like through us. How do you call this name? Farmers of 40 Centuries. It's a very inspiring book. Like, yeah, I'm a person. I'm doing this. I also am proud of what I have done. But do it yourself and improve it and go far.
It's all about that. It's all about
knowing Elliot, knowing you, Alan Savory, Richard Perkins, blah, blah, blah. They are giving something. You have to take it and do it something and give it then with humble. And that's what I really have learned more with visiting these people and these places, like humbly receiving and hopefully humbling, giving back in my own context. Later, maybe when I teach now, but maybe when I am a little older.
Right. I told you, Francisco, teaching is learning.
Yeah.
So it's a really nice way to learn, is to start teaching, because when you teach it, you're like, you understand what you don't know. Also, like people are asking you things, you're like, well, I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah.
Writing also, but for me, writing has been a big way of making sense of all these things that I know, putting them into a format, researching what I'm not so sure about, finding the right answers, describing things in a certain way. I do feel that the act of writing is a very moment where you self-reflect and you really take the time to, dig deeper into the knowledge,
Yeah, and you also you distill your thoughts.
Yeah, you distill your thoughts.
Paragraphs. It's not easy.
Are you having some events or anything at your farm? Community gatherings?
Not really, because it's very hard and far to go.
Yeah.
But 2 years ago, last year, I have 2 kids. So one is 2 and the other is about to be 5. So it's a period of my life also where me and my wife, we are focused on them. So energy and time is not something that we have too much. But 2 years ago, in the same summer, we had Charles Dowding at the farm and Ben Hartman in different workshops.
Wow.
And I brought dozens of people each. And in our farm, we eat together, we cook nice food, and the place is beautiful. So some people go and camp, and others stay in the neighbor's place. He has some, like a kind of hotel or something like that. So those events, I like to do like specific things in the farm for a week. Yeah. But and it was fun.
It must have been. I met Charles like so many years ago in Tuscany, and we had a great time, and we were hanging out, and then we eventually never got paid. And that really brought us together. We're like, oh, that woman didn't pay us?
No.
But Sonny's a super guy.
Yeah.
And Ben Hartman also, super guy. I'd love to have Ben on the podcast. It'd be fun to have him on the podcast.
We were talking about how he's doing experiments with burlap this year. He's really doing kind of a service, because not many farmers are willing to take the risk, but he's really going for it, like all in on trying to figure out best practices with other materials.
Yeah, in my opinion, he's one of the true sharer. In that journey along the years, and I've heard Elliot say that too. It's like you meet people that they want to be experts before they're experts, and you really see that. Really, like, it doesn't take me long to see that.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at the Real Organic Project, a farmer-led movement working to reclaim what organic really means. Friends, you know that the USDA organic label was once powerful, but let's be honest, today it doesn't always stand for soil-grown food or pastured animals. That's why I love what the Real Organic Project is doing. They've created a free, farmer-driven add-on certification that protects the true value of organic farming. They already certify over 1,000 farms across North America, and they bring together growers who believe in healthy soil, real food, and integrity. Check them out at realorganicproject.org, and don't miss their really cool and really insightful Real Organic podcast with amazing voices like Elliot Coleman, Vandana Shiva, and yes, me too. Thanks, guys, for supporting the podcast. Let's unite, let's come together, and let's stop the co-opting of organic.
No, he's always thinking how to...
But there's real experts that are there that are sharing. And these are the ones that, for me, they're interesting to follow because they will come up with stuff that's worthwhile kind of going over. And he's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
You said his farm was really small. That was something that...
I was shocked because I know he has the micro farm also, the concept. The micro lean farm, I think is the last book, the name. But when we went to the house, it was like the backyard, and still he makes like his main income from that. And the beauty of the place is also amazing. Like he's very inspired. We were talking yesterday about Japan and the Japanese culture. So everything is perfect in the farm, like very neat, very clean. It's not maybe my way of doing it, but I saw it. It was like, wow. I was shocked about the size and the perfection of everything and the mindset around the farm. That, I think, is very similar as how Mau de Hélène runs La Grenette, but in a different way. So both are very inspiring, and for me, it's like, okay, small, simple, less doing, putting the eye on the long term. I think that's something that every young farmer or wish to be farmer must learn, like from Mau de Hélène and from Bernard Hartmann. Like, keep it simple, keep it small. You can be Japanese or you can be more like that. I don't know, but for me, I think it's
in its years. Like, the simplicity comes after many. It's like you polish the rock and then eventually it becomes really nice. But it's repeating, and then I think one of the key aspect of our farms is that we're not growing the farms. We're not expanding. We're not doubling or tripling or hiring more staff. And eventually, that's what makes it nice. Because when you double the farm, it's a new layer. It's a new stage. And then you need to relearn all of this. And keeping it small is really one of the key.
Yeah.
Are we planning a trip to Japan?
I'm in.
Or Chile.
Well, Chile for sure. That's locked in. But, to go farm exploring, like that's the dream that I've had for so many years, is to go to Japan and visit these farms and these market gardens that are everywhere. And
I will give you my wife's number so I can ask permission.
Well,
Hey,
you call my wife, I call yours. But,
but I need her.
You need the air miles. I know how that
Married
works.
guys will understand this.
Yeah. Chris, this could be a shorter version because it's kind of short notice. We decided yesterday that we were doing this with you because you're here and we're having a good time.
That's true.
We have this segment of the show where it's called Rapid Fire. So we go through some questions where we ask you things in a pretty straightforward way. And if there's a blank about them, then just pass. And
and maybe I'll add a second question in somewhere. But what is a book that you've read many times?
I am very into history and I love war history. So
really,
my wife loves, like, why are you reading that book for the third time? And I'm like, I don't know. I just like. So Anthony Vivor, Second World War.
Anthony Vivor,
I have read that book 3 times, and I think I will read it again. It's just like, for me, it's like, I don't know. It's just interesting.
He wrote about. It wasn't him that did Band of Brothers, was it? Anthony Vivor?
I don't know.
I don't think so. But he wrote a lot of war books. I've seen too.
I have.
Are they like a novel or they're like describing what was going on?
It's amazing. I mean, he has several. Like now I have the Spanish Civil War. It's also good. I'm starting to reading it. It's very detailed. It's very dense, like thick books. But you have the context. You have the letters from Roosevelt to Churchill to Stalin. You have the letters from the soldiers in the trench to their moms. You have the tank battles between, and so specific. Some things I don't understand really, but I like to understand that period of our cultures. That I was interested when I traveled to Europe the first time. I didn't really understand why Europe was organized like that. I went to Berlin, this street where the wall was. I didn't really understood that. So I said, why? Like, why Britain is like Britain? Why France? And that book, I think, is very... you understand later. When you read the book, it's like, wow. So from that book, I started reading Churchill's biography, like also 2 times or 3 times.
Nice.
I even visited his farmhouse when I went to UK. So it's very weird because it's not like what's expected of a organic small-scale farmer living in Patagonia, but I really like to understand.
I'm similar. I don't know why. I don't know why we, why is it a thing that people are into? I don't know. But
I'm in
too.
the second world. Like, this is a thing for me. Like, I watch all the documentaries,
Me too.
all the movies about it. Like, I'm passionate. I listen to podcasts about this.
Me too.
Me too.
The Second World War for me, like, there's something about that was so, and the Nazis and it's like, man.
And young people leaving their homes to another continent to fight. And
It's an insane story.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you think there's a reason why young men like us would be revisiting that? Perhaps it's a cautionary tale, or
I don't know.
it's
Maybe
so
it's
that we
this-
don't forget, because this was terrible.
Yeah.
It was the worst thing ever. When we talk about, ecological collapse or catastrophe or even climate change, nothing can compare to Second World War. You're being bombed.
Yeah.
There's a theory, I don't know who kind of has put this out there, but that, wars and catastrophes go in these 100-something year cycles, and it's just because of generational memory. It's once enough time has passed that no generation can remember anymore. It repeats, and there's people that have looked at all of history and pinpointed that they can, I don't really know how true it is, but it's a theory that I've heard spoken about. That's pretty well. Anyway.
Okay. And that has repeated a lot of, like, it's a cycle. So Churchill was inspired by, Churchill was really inspired by Julius Caesar. And there is a novel story about the youth of Julius Caesar. And then it was this other Roman general that was before him who defeated the Carthaginians. So all these guys are connected in ideals, and Julius Caesar was inspired by, sorry about the ignorance, but
Marcus Aurelius with the Greece.
no, the guy who went up to Pakistan and India.
The elephant story.
All these guys are kind of one of each other inspired. The same happened with the environmental activists. Like, I haven't read those, but I know that they were kind of the conservation thinking of movement started with this Thoreau, with the lagoon in the backyard. So it's nice to understand in the broader history how thought is evolving and who is inspiring who, because in the end, the West won the war. That's how the story, half of the world thinks. Is because Churchill convinced to everyone to stay in the war, because when he was born, he was convinced that he will save the country from a foreign invasion, because he read all these books when he was younger.
So he's prepared for something like that.
Because his antecessor was somehow involved with defeating Napoleon. So history is very
the world is not
interesting.
just the way it is.
Yeah. Do you know that when England defeated Napoleon, that's when French Canada, that's when we became English.
Imagine.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'd be French. So anyway.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That's another book.
It's like
Canadian history.
Yep. What's advice you heard when you were really young, but you only appreciated it much later in life?
Ooh. The first thing that comes to my mind is parenthood. Like, you never know until you are a dad. Like, how it feels and how it changes your life and perspective. My dad passed away 15 years ago. So I really, really value being a dad, and how important for my kids is that I am present and don't go crazy. And I have to be successful in my own context. It's the balance between having enough money, having enough time, enjoying with them, being present with them. So every dad tells that to their sons, I think. But for me, that's something that it came once you asked, because I wasn't expecting the question.
It's called rapid fire for that reason.
What's advice that you give to many people or give often?
Like farmers? Like
Could be that, yeah, or it could be anything.
Young
up to
farmers,
you.
maybe more specific. I would advise them to be smart and learn from other farmers and make the will is there, you know. I don't want to be so obvious to promote the work that you are doing, the market gardener, but it's there, you know. It's there. You have to follow the instructions and be precise. Do that. Leave your more time to do other things, and then other things will come. But I see that mistakes are made repeatedly of not following basic instructions, and I think it's there, and we should use it like more. As you said, traveling and learning, being a masterclass student or reading these books is like, it's there. Do it. Like,
What are people not talking about enough?
Failures and how to overcome failure and putting the view on the long term, because we all fail in some things, our businesses, but you see story of successful people. They say, yeah, I failed 5 times and I kept going. And how you are worried about one failure is like some people is like, get up and try again.
It's a good segue to the next question, which is, what's a notable failure in your life that turned out to be something better afterwards?
I don't think it's a failure, but when I was younger, my world was way smaller. So I think I could have put in my objectives younger to go to a better university or to get around better people in a world that would have made me better now. It was not my context. I went to a university that was like, okay, a public and everything, but now you look back and said, I spent 5 years there. Wow. If someone told me like, you can go here, there, maybe I could have like be 10 years ahead or maybe 15 years ahead. So I am who I am now. I am happy. I have a beautiful family. I have this thing that we are pushing. But yeah, maybe that could be easier.
I know what you mean. What's the best food experience you've had in the last year?
In the last year? What I was doing last year?
Or well, the last year, so starting from right now to a year ago, during the last year.
Where we live, we eat a lot of lamb. Sorry about vegans and vegetarians, nothing about against them, but we eat a lot of lamb, and we cook a standing lamb that takes a whole day to cook. Like just 3 hours in the fire, you turn it, and that creates a panorama for the day. And when it's done, we eat it with our hands and knives, just
Nice.
like very rustic, and that goes with other foods and wine and beer. But the thing is sharing, and it's like, and so maybe one of these lambs that we have eaten at the farm with more friends and the team are always like nice. Oh, so nice.
Yeah. So if we come to Chile, can we do that?
Of course, more than once.
Do you know how to kind of open it so that it's like?
Yes.
Do you know how to prepare it?
Yeah, I know.
And is it stuffed or not? It's just like salt and
We have something called chimichurri.
chimichurri.
That
Yeah, of course.
it has vinegar, salt, cilantro, garlic, and salt and pepper, and sometimes you can put beer in it. So, and you use it every time to
Flavor it a little
flavor it. And we always eat that because there are vegetarians and vegans in the team. Always we have a 1 by 1 meter like plancha, inspired by this Argentinian chef Francis Malman.
I was gonna say it made me
Yeah.
think of that.
When I got married in the farm, we cooked 4 standing lamps and 2 1 by 1 meter like vegetarian. So
Wow.
we just put the fire on the plancha and we put all the vegetables on there, like everything, like carrots with leaves.
Did you also
tomatoes,
put any
garlic.
vegetables in a pit? I've seen that.
Yeah, there's
my-
a traditional way to do it
Yeah.
in Chiloé. It's a region of Chile. But we mostly put on the plancha
Yeah,
with
yeah.
a lot of oil and salt and beer, also cooking for 3 or 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's so nice that everyone goes a little crazy and they eat with their hands like,
I love it.
and then you just clean yourself with
My
a
favorite way to eat.
cotton thing. Everyone is sharing, and we share
Yeah.
mate. Everyone is sharing. So it's about sharing, and
Yeah.
good food. I love that. I mean, I'm much more into that than restaurants. I really appreciate like chefs and the 10 dishes times and things. I appreciate that. But if you ask me, lamb with the hands and
Yeah,
vegetables
just
with the
hanging
hands,
out outside by
with
the fire
friends
with
in there drinking wine and having fun.
oh yeah. That's the good
We're
stuff.
all happy now. We're like,
We're
I can't wait
salivating.
to do that.
And what is a great difficult decision that you've made in your life that was really hard at the time but turned out for the best afterwards?
Going to live to Patagonia, I still remember because I had a girlfriend at that time that we split. And it was my birthday of 2014.
Well, this is strangely parallel to my own story, but continue.
And I remember in the bus going to, I suppose it was Santiago, going to this unexpected adventure that ended being my life. I never came back from that bus.
Yeah, you never
Trip.
came back.
I kind of felt that, like watching the fields in the bus. I'm leaving. I mean, I'm leaving my hometown. I'm leaving to Patagonia. I think I will be able to, because I applied for volunteering with the Tompkins, not to work, and I had to work my way towards hiring me and building a garden that was, because when I arrived, it was not the garden that ended being. We made it again completely. And that meant that I left behind my family. And I come from a family that is big. I have, just for my dad family, 27 cousins. I had 2 grandmothers. My grandparents and my granddads, they passed away before I was born, but I had 2 beautiful grandmothers. And my mom, of course, my friends. So I left behind a lot of things. And my grandmothers, both of them passed away in the last 5 years. Every time I visited my hometown, I went to visit them. And I really appreciated every minute of their life, the skin, looking the eyes. So when you are so far away, when you come back, every minute counts. And I appreciated like understanding the value of having you here and talking now we will be dead soon. So this moment is unique. And as it's unique, what you are leaving behind is very important and very expensive in your life. So if you are going to do something, it has to be something like that, not better, but
Epic.
that you put in the balance. It has to be justifiable to have left all that behind to do something like more important for your family as well, you know? So I like to think about that. Okay, I am not doing this, but I am doing this that has to be worth to have said not to this other thing. And that was leaving my family and friends behind. That is still hard. I have my friends in the WhatsApp group, and they have their group. They still have their group, but I am not part of it anymore. You know.
Yeah.
It's the hero's journey. You know, you have this place where everything's super well understood, and then there's a calling, and then you can accept the challenge or not. And if you accept the adventure, then it comes with highs, lows, teachers along the way that you'll need. So funny because growing up, I've watched Star Wars probably so many times. For me, a lot of how we live our lives brings it back to that. It's like, are you leaving that little planet to go, hunting and just like with this princess and.
Yeah,
so
and I met my wife. She worked with the Tompkins before me, so I met her there. So I didn't bring her; she was there. So that was amazing. I love her, and we have beautiful kids. So yeah, you leave behind things, but things are there, and you don't expect, and it has been good.
Yeah, for every one thing you do, there's an infinity of things that you're not doing.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's all.
That's all. It was great to have this more formal conversation. It was fun to be with you, Chris.
Yeah, great fun.
Thank you both.
To all the listeners out there, I hope you guys are doing well. We're doing well. If you want to learn about Canopy, where Francisco was this week, you can check out the website of the Market Gardener Institute. It's a leadership class that we have once a year here, and it attracts some beautiful souls, as we've heard today. So I hope you guys are doing well. We'll see you next time. We're out, friends. Hope you're enjoying the podcast. These are important conversations, and we're really excited to have them and to share them with everyone. Don't forget to subscribe to it, download the episodes, and please rate them. It makes a difference for us. We want to know what you think about these conversations. They're important. Check out the work that we do at the Market Gardener Institute. You can check out our website, themarketgardener.com. Our mission is to multiply the number of small ecological farms around the world. And we do this by offering training, online courses to new aspiring farmers, but also to seasoned growers. We're helping them take it to the next level. So you can check out the work that we do. You can follow us on social media. You can sign up to our newsletter to get a lot of freebies about gardening, farming, but also about how small-scale farming is changing the world. And that's really what we're all about, and that's really what this is all about. So again, thank you for tuning in. Super excited that you guys are on board. We are changing the world.